Hello friends, let us make the notes of Geography Class 8 Chapter 1 Resources. So first, what is a resource? Anything that can be used to satisfy a need is known as a resource. So everything around us is a resource as it can be used to satisfy our need. Examples of resources can be water, electricity, books, or buses, rickshaw, everything is a resource. As they have been used by us, they have a utility. What is a utility? It is what makes an object a resource. Utility is what makes an object or a substance a resource. Now, what is the meaning of value? Value means worth. The utility or usability is what gives the object its value. So when we use the object, it gives the value to the object. For example, some objects or resources have economic value while some do not. Example, metals may have an economic value, a beautiful landscape but not, but both are important to satisfy human needs. Some resources can become economically valuable with time. For example, the home remedies of our grandmothers, they have no commercial value today, but if they are patented and sold at a medical firm tomorrow, they can become economically valuable. Patented means giving the exclusive right over any idea or invention. So if they're given a patent and sold, they can have economic value too. So time and technology. These are the important factors which can change a substance into a resource, as both are related to the needs of people. So time and technology can change a substance into a resource. With time, slowly, as there are more inventions coming for the need of the people, and technology which will be developing those inventions. So with the help of these, it can change any substance into a resource that is of our need. Do you know what's the most important resource? Yes, people. They are the most important resource, because without them, nothing would be called a resource, as it is them who is developing the resource and who is using the resources. The discovery of fire led to the practice of cooking in that way. Each discovery or invention leads to many others. Now moving on to the next topic, types of resources. Resources can be classified into three groups: natural, man-made, and lastly, human. Natural resources. These have two main points. They are drawn from nature. It means they are taken from the nature. And second, used without much modification. It means they are used without not much modification, and they are used as they have been taken out in a natural way. For example, water, soil, etc. They are given to us from the nature, and we use them without much modification. So many of these are resources, like almost all, and they are free gifts of the nature and can be used directly, so without adding anything to them. But there are some cases in which we need to use tools and technology to use a natural resource in the best way possible, so that it can be used without wasting it. Now, natural resources can also be categorized into two types of resources. One is renewable, and the second is non-renewable. So here, renewable and non-renewable mean, re means again, new means like the new things. So we can use them as if they're new once again. And non-renewable means they cannot be renewed or replenished quickly. So renewable resources are the resources which can get renewed quickly. And some of these resources are unlimited. For example, there is sun energy, like the solar energy, and there's wind energy. So these are unlimited. They cannot get over, and they can get renewed quickly. But non-renewable resources are the resources which have a limited stock, and it can take thousands of years for it to get renewed. For example, there is coal energy. Soon it will get over. Like, by the way we are using the coal energy, soon there will be none left, and it can take over thousands of years for it to get renewed, so that we can use it again. So example for renewable resources can be solar energy and wind energy, and for non-renewable resources it can be coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. Here are two important points about the natural resources. The distribution of natural resources depend upon the physical factors like terrain, climate, and altitude. So in one place we cannot find all the natural resources together because it depends upon the physical factors of the place. If some places are cold, some are hot, so we cannot find a lot of water in the cold places as it might freeze. And the second point is the distribution of resources is unequal because these factors differ so much over the earth. For example, some places are on great heights while some are not on higher heights. Some places have a lot of water while some have a lot of sand. And the climate also differs so much over the earth. So this is about natural resources. Moving on, we have man-made resources or human-made resources. So human-made resources is when the original form of the resource obtained from the nature has been changed. People use natural resources to make buildings, bridges, roads, machinery, and vehicles, which are also known as human-made resources, as they are made or modified from the natural resources by the humans. Also, technology is also a human-made resource. So if you want a proper definition of human resource, it can be that resource refers to the number, which is quantity, and the abilities that are mental and physical of the people. Though there are differing views regarding treatment of human as a resource, one cannot deny the fact that it is the skills of the human that help in transferring the physical material into valuable resource. People can make the best use of nature to create more resources when they have the knowledge, skill, and the technology to do so. That is why human beings are a special resource. In short, human resources is the people. Education and health help in making people a valuable resource, improving the quality of people's skill so that they are able to create more resources is known as human resource development. So here's the definition of human resource development. So this is the definition of human resource development. And that was the topic about types of resources. Moving on to the next topic, which is conserving resources. So resource conservation is using resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed is called resource conservation. So if we use a resource properly, for example petroleum, if we use that resource carefully and give it time to get renewed, it is called resource conservation, as we are not using all the resource at once and saving it for the future too. So as we talked about saving them for the future, we come to the next subtopic, which is sustainable development. Sustainable development, it is balancing the need to use resources, and second point, balancing the need to use resources and also conserve them for the future is known as sustainable development. Sustainable development also means carefully utilizing the resource so that besides meeting the requirements of the present, also takes care of the future generations. So if we use the resource properly and not waste it all at once and save it for the future so that it can also be used in the future, it is known as sustainable development. There are many ways of conserving resources. Each person can contribute by reducing consumption, recycling, and reusing things. Ultimately, it makes a difference because all our lives are linked. We help each other. For this, we can use the 3R method, which means reduce the waste, reuse the things, and recycle the things. So this method can be used for a sustainable development. and it can only be done by us humans or the human resource. So now, the future of our planet and its people is linked with our ability to maintain and preserve the life support system that the nature provides. Therefore, it is our duty to ensure all of these. That is, number one, all uses of renewable resources are sustained, which means the renewable resources are still saved for the future. Number two, the diversity of life on the earth is conserved. That means we shall not damage the diversity of the earth and conserve it, which means protect it. And third, the damage to natural environment system is minimized. The nature is providing so much to us, so it is our duty to minimize the damage that we are causing to the natural environment system. So on the screen are some principles of sustainable development which can also be useful. Number one, respect and care for all forms of life. We should respect and care for all the forms of life that are on the earth. It can be plant, birds, animals, insects, or even us humans. Number two, improve the quality of human life. Number three, conserve the earth's vitality and diversity. Our earth is very diverse, so we must conserve its diversity too. Number four, minimize the depletion of natural resources. For example, nowadays to make buildings, we are cutting a lot of trees. So we must minimize the depletion of natural resources and let the natural resources stay as they are, which is natural. Number fifth, change personal attitude and practices towards the environment. It is a bad habit of humans that they are throwing a lot of garbage on the nature. So we must change our attitude and care for the nature as if it is our home. And lastly, enable communities to take care for their own environment. So these are the principles of sustainable development. With this, our chapter resources comes to an end. Also now let us have a look to the exercise given in the textbook. Why are resources distributed unequally over the earth? The answer, the distribution of resources is unequal because the factors, which are the physical factors, differ so much over the earth. Question number two, what is resource conservation? Resource conservation is using resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed. Number three, why are human resources important? Because human resources improve the quality of living. Also, people can make the best use of nature to create more resources when they have knowledge, skill, and technology to do so. Fourth question, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development means balancing the need to use resources and also conserve them for the future. Second question, which of the following does not make substance a resource? Utility does make a substance a resource, and utility gives the value to the resource, but quantity does not make a substance a resource. Which one of the following is a human-made resource? Spring water is natural, tropical forests are natural, medicines to treat cancer are made by humans. Complete the statement. Non-renewable resources are those which have a limited stock, made by human beings, derived from non-living things. Made by human beings can be man-made resources. So it is those which have a limited stock as it takes long time to get renewed. So that was the chapter resources. Thank you and follow for more chapters.